when you think of a game, right? If I'm playing a video game, you call the video game an avatar, like your character an avatar. It's because what you're doing is you're projecting your consciousness into an avatar.
Yes.
So the feeling is, which is a potential thing, is like maybe there's a higher consciousness, right? Kind of like if you are playing a video game, projecting itself into you in this reality. Hey everyone, welcome to the Humana podcast. My name is Anthony, aka Cav. I'm here with
Robbie. Hi everybody.
Aka Nuki.
Yeah, Nuki.
So Humana, the overall brand, the podcast, it's about connecting to what we have in common, that we're all human. So putting that first. So this podcast is about the identification of the self. So who we are on our deepest level. So for me, it's about recognizing that we're all human, we're all here on earth, we're all one in some sense, but not discarding the fact that we're all unique and different. So we also have these different layers of who we are. So it's like you're also a doctor, you're a parent, you're a fan of like football academy or football team. So we have all these layers of identification that generally put up barriers, and we tend to like dislike and like certain people for this reason. So for me, this podcast is really about identifying with that what we have in common, which is that humanness, that human part of ourselves, being humankind. And the important word is both those, being human and being kind. And so today's episode and what the entire podcast really is about is how to discover who we are in today's society. So reflecting on these different elements of ourselves. So for me, it's about, who am I spiritually, who am I physically, who am I emotionally, and who am I mentally, and then who am I on a greater level, like more like a consciousness level as well. So for me, I want to cover these sort of things, and I think Nuki said it earlier. This podcast isn't about necessarily teaching. It's more about expressing and sharing what we've learned on our journeys. Hoping that this resonates with you guys, with the audience. So, yeah. How about you, man?
Let's kick it off. Yeah. It's totally what I'm up to. I would love to share my personal perspective on being a human and see also what comes up. Because obviously we're gonna have like questions, and I would love to actually address every episode starting from a question. So having a question, probably the first one might be, what it means to be a human, or what is like. Probably we can kick off there. And then there are so many others, like why we here. People maybe might wonder, okay, what's my purpose? We kind of, I think we're gonna go kind of explore all those bits, like a deep sort of meaningful questions. I would love to do that. Yeah.
Okay. So do you want to kick us off by starting like, what is a human to you, and like, who are you? Who do you identify as? Maybe take us from there.
Okay. Well, it's something that have changed for sure. I guess it's like we go through different phases, but right now I can totally, state probably because you listen more, you're more attentive, you're more aware. I've been building awareness of who am I, the way I feel, and the way sometimes I feel doesn't have to, let's say, identify who I am. I don't know if it makes sense, but I think being a human, it means it's like there's this new term that I'm using now. It's like I feel like I'm a portal. I don't know if it makes sense.
You can explain, maybe.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, maybe sound more a bit abstract, or it's like we were sent here on Earth from a stronger, a bigger force, let's say. We can call it source of energy, we can call it infinite intelligence, we can call it God. That force is always connecting with us, and is always sending messages, signs, signals. We just need to be more aware of those signs and signals, because probably we're always into ourselves or distracted. I think throughout my life, I got like several times distracted. So, and every time actually I was able to bring some awareness, I was like, okay, hold on, this actually doesn't even matter. Whatever is happening, it doesn't even, it's just so, what I was going to say was that this force is giving us like the ability to do, to be a portal, like to bring this message. So he has different messages and we are just a portal. That's how I feel. I feel like, okay, if I feel that I'm connecting with this force, deep down, I have all the answers. And sometimes you don't even need to say, okay, why I feel that way. Just go that way. Whatever is right now. You just need to go in and actually see that peaceful place inside you. You kind of like, when you find it, everything becomes clear. You find clarity. So that's what I think right now. This is my understanding of being a human. So you are a portal that is actually, bringing this message of, you mentioned kindness. So it's about being kind. It's about, help each other's out. There are so many things that are all part of being human. And the fact that we are human and we are not just animals. Also, there's also that, difference between being just an animal, being a human, because we have this capacity to connect with this higher source of force, which, probably in another podcast we go more like deeper and deeper into.
I wouldn't mind touching on a few things you said.
Yeah.
So if I'm bringing a couple of stories or a couple of ideas that have circulated through time. So there's the idea of an avatar. So this is like in Hindu mythology, you'd have an avatar is someone that is here in the physical world, but a higher consciousness is actually playing through them. So when you think of a game, right? If I'm playing a video game, you call the video game an avatar, like your character an avatar. It's because what you're doing is you're projecting your consciousness into an avatar.
Yes.
So the feeling is, which is a potential thing, is like maybe there's a higher consciousness, right? Kind of like if you are playing a video game, projecting itself into you in this reality. And so you get a sense of like, okay, I'm connecting to my higher self. And so that could be one version of your higher self. It's like this godlike version of you. And again, Hindu mythology, Buddhism, it's about like enlightenment is about being a vessel, might be a better word. I think a portal is also very good. So Nuki is from Italy. So I think a vessel is maybe what you're also getting at. Is that
I actually think like a portal, and I also believe it is like so this is the vessel. Like when I say vessel, when I think of a vessel, the vessel is actually my body.
Yeah.
That's how when I mention
the portal
vessel,
is the connection.
The portal is like, you get this, the source is sending you stuff. Or the message. These things are coming through you. That's why I feel like you're more like a portal.
I understand.
You feel like a portal because you're then giving this to the world. So you can
so
call it filter, you can call it channel. Portal maybe makes more sense to me right now. And it doesn't mean that I'm not the source. I'm a portal of.
But you're connected to source as well. I feel like that's very true too. So that's there's one. Yeah, I agree with that. Like for me, my understanding is that we're like fractal versions of unity source. So it's like a source of consciousness, whatever you want to call it, God, universe, higher power, energy. It's the same. If we're looking at science, it's like we can fit the entire universe into a singular atom, right? So that's like a singular point.
Mm.
So that singular point, whatever that is then it contains everything within it. So I feel like we're fractal versions of like this infinite source of energy. And in order to exist, we have to individualize ourselves. So like I have to identify as Anthony, as separate to you, as in separate to Nuki, so that you and I can exist within this like 3D plane. But both of us are connected to like a higher, maybe a higher self that is unique to us, but then also that connects back to this universal field of consciousness, let's say.
So put it this way, now it makes a lot of sense when you hear that phrase, we are all one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like the way you put it. Like,
I truly believe we're all one, and we can talk about this in maybe another episode. But I had a very intense spiritual experience where I didn't just like think, oh, we're all one. Like I felt it. It was visceral. I was like, holy crap! Like we're all one. Everything is like love. Everything is like connected. Everything's like
wow.
Everything's like divine, and everything's gonna be okay. I mean, I remember like trying to get all the boys. Like, I was like, boys, let's get in a circle. Let's hold hands. Like, like what you got? Bro, why does Cav want to hold hands with all the boys? Right. And I was just like, I went to this whole other dimension, man. And dimension, by the way. So the word dimension means two. So di is two. Yeah. And mention is measurements. So it's two measurements of the same thing. That's what a dimension literally means. Shit. So you and I, right? We're both looking at this camera. We're both here in conversation. Yeah. We're in the same reality, but we're two different measurements of the same thing. And so my other theory is that actually when people talk about dimensions, everyone is a different dimension. Yeah. And and you can change and shift your consciousness between these things. And I do think God is actually experiencing the totality of the world through us, each individual. But bringing this back to like what human is, I think I do believe that everything is part of this like unified consciousness. And I really love the old stories of like Prometheus and ancient Greek myth, and I'll keep coming back to stories because it's the way that I understand things. So the giving of the fire, it's like Prometheus giving fire to humans and like giving them the lights is like taking it away from the gods. So taking it away from like this unified consciousness and giving humans the ability to now go on their own path. And so we're kind of like we're fallen from the kingdom of heaven, or we're fallen from this like ideal Olympus or whatever it is. Like we're kind of separate from them, but we have that unique divine spark, and we get to exist in this physical plane. And then like in Greek myth, like the gods like drink the sweat of humans because they actually admire the humans because we get to actually pass on. So gods,
maybe for all those listeners like me, I feel like one of those listeners now.
Oh yeah.
They don't know much about Greek mythology and everything. Like who's this?
Prometheus.
Yeah.
This guy? Yeah, he's one of the gods that stole the flame from Olympus and gave it to the humans.
There's no relation with the.
Well, it's actually very similar to the fallen angel Lucifer. So Lucifer in Christian mythology, Christianity.
You can see the.
Well, Lucifer means lucere, right? Lucere is like to light. So it's to give light. So it's the light bringer. So the light bringer is what gives consciousness, and light also. It's very interesting. I thought like light actually divides things. You know what I mean? So if I shine a light here today, like the sun's out, I can see the tree, I can see the grass, I can see you, I can see the difference between things. Darkness, actually, funny enough, everything's one. Because if it's dark, I can't see everything. Actually becomes in a unified field.
I
so
love
it's
this
crazy.
Concept. Yeah.
So I was like, actually, the other way. It's actually the other way around. Light actually somewhat divides in some sense, and and when you have like a prism, like these divisions of light, like a rainbow, right? Is these separate. We see these individual rays, these individual colors, but they're actually all one. And so that's like white light. So I think white light, and that's why you have white light, which is like it's all the colors together, which reflects all colors, and darkness is like all black, absorbs all colors. So they're kind of the same thing, light and dark, right? In that sort of sense. And then in between is all this spectrum. And so I think we're experiencing like that spectrum of life. And I think that's a very human quality that we have. And so it's so precious and unique, and we get to experience life and death, you know, and at least in this physical form. I do believe I do believe that we continue forward. I believe that, you know, in reincarnation, or like this repurposing of energy. So energy can't be destroyed, or like, you know, it's like this like stable sort of currency. But being human is actually having to confront the fear of death. I think that's part of what it means to be human. And confronting that means also overcoming that. A big part of being human to me is actually overcoming the fear of death. And that is, you know, if you think about fear, it's like love for life. That would be the opposite of that. So I think that's one of the greatest treasures we have, is being human. Yeah, so how do you find that light within yourself, and that love for life? And that exists in every single one of us. And that's, again, what's this podcast about for me. It's about how do we tap into that? You know, how do we fall in love with life and surrender to this? You know?
Yeah, to surrender, again, that's the word. But how would you, because now you tapped into that, how would you live a life? How can we all live a life without the fear of death? What's it like for you? Like, for example, how do you deal with that? Like, we can live, because I've been coming across this concept, like, you know, if you could actually live completely without fear. At first answer was like, what do you mean? Like, you feel fear, like no matter, regardless, you feel it. But this person, this guy, is a mentor. I can't remember his name. I think Krishnamurti. I think he was Bruce Lee mentors, actually. But he goes on and on this principle. The first thing for him is just being able to live without fear, the fear of death. But how can you do that? How can you do it? Because like let's say in a physical world, there's like danger is everywhere, is around the corner. You just cross the road, you might die there, you get killed there, or jump into the ocean, might have shark. You know, those things that makes you kind of actually feel and perceive fear. So how can you live without it?
It's a good question, bro. I think it's very simple and very complex at the same time.
Oh yeah,
it's a bit of a paradox. So the antidote is love, right? So
love for life, you mean?
Love for life, but just love in general. So it's like, okay, it's really kind of understanding what love is. So let's say you could define love as God. So if you think that love created this entire universe, it means everything that's here is comes from love. Then when you pass, when your physical body passes, you then you connect, right? You join again with love, with unity. So let's say if you call that heaven, you call that God, whatever religion or story you want to take on. If you want to, maybe, I think for myself, I articulate it as love in today's modern society. And if you imagine that I'm going to be reconnected with like with love, as purest consciousness, right? And I'm pretty sure that God is love is stated a lot of times as well in the Bible, in the text, and a whole bunch of stuff, right? And like love is the way. So okay, so you're still gonna have fear. I still yeah, it is the answer. But love has so many different flavors and textures to it. So it's like understanding love is the creator. So love is also love is like courage in some sense. So if I think about, okay, fear of death, I still have fear. Every day I still face fears. I've had moments where I've like been in another state, but in my day-to-day life, I have a lot of fear. But love for that thing, love for that person, love for myself, love for life
pushes
me through it. Doesn't mean the fear doesn't exist. It just means that you have the capacity to overcome that fear. And each time you do that, you're also like, you're building this like strength and willpower and integrity and character and belief in yourself. So first thing is like love. And so like, how do you find that? And I think it comes between like you have to really articulate that to yourself, have a really good understanding of what love is, not just romantic love. It's on all these different aspects, you know, love in friendship, love, you know, okay, for me, I've always understood Jesus as love. So like, if Jesus is like, he's like the person that's embodied like love to its fullest. It's like every choice he made was like out of love. So like, you know, if he felt angry or had someone there or judged someone or this person's, he came at it with love. And so for me, that's like the highest state of consciousness. If you're constantly in love with just what you do. And I think that's what enlightenment is as well. And so you have all these parallels. So that's one way. And yeah, how do you develop that understanding? I guess that's just like through day-to-day interaction, being awareness. There you go. That's probably something you said.
Yeah, but the day-to-day makes me think of somebody again wiser than me, wiser than me. She's really famous. I can't come up with the name. Pretty sure she was from UK. And anyway, her message was about think of all the things that you do on a daily basis. Everything you do, no matter what it is, even if it's just brushing your teeth or tying your shoes or anything, or kissing your kids, any little gesture, any little action. Think of that thing without love. How does it come out?
Yeah.
Like if you do every single gesture, every single thing, you put a bit of love into it, it's just so much better. It's like giving a lesson. Like maybe you're a teacher, and you're teaching, but without love. You're just teaching there because that day you feel like you have to do your work. So you're not feeling much loved for what you're doing. So that feels frustrating. That feels frustrating. That it is not enjoyable. If you instead you can tune in and say, okay, I'm doing this with purpose, but I'm doing this with love. It's for the love of teaching and for the love of others. It becomes, it's effortless. So I'd say that the answer is love again. Like the answer is love. If we could use love as a actually currency for making everything we do better.
Yeah, and I think it's obviously we don't maintain that. Some of it, well, that's the goal. But a lot of the time we don't maintain that level of love and that level of consciousness. But we continually strive for that. And I think that's what, you know, the
part of being human.
The evolution of human is. That's, you know, that's what like being human is. How do I cultivate that? And the other part, you know, if you ask me like what is like how do we bring this into our lives? So for me, again, this podcast is about the different elements and bringing in a lot of these like concepts from ancient mythology or ancient tribes. So the mind. So what's your relationship like with your mental health, like your thoughts day to day? Okay, so like if that could be under control. Like, okay, am I loving myself? Am I hating myself? What's the relationship that I have there? Physically, okay. Every time I eat food, do I nourish my body? Do I disrupt my body? Do I harm my body? So these are
How do we call this though? So now you're analyzing it, you're saying it, what's happening, you're explaining what you do.
Yeah.
What is it called? To me, this is awareness.
Yeah.
So that's the word.
Yeah, it's awareness, yeah. But awareness of what?
Awareness of your
relation, your like the love. The love, right? So it's awareness of how much love am I cultivating in this space. So we have the mind, the body, the spirit. So spirit is like, you know, what's my relationship like to like willpower, let's say, like, you know, when you're confronting things, you're confronting the unknown, you know, what do you like in those situations?
But also, what's your understanding? Because we're all different. Like maybe depending on which stage of your life you're in, and also which experiences you've been through, that changes everything. That changes everything. Your perception of willpower as well might be completely different than my perception of willpower. Because now we can actually go on and on. We're going to have an episode probably about willpower, but this is going to be our perception. Probably also what we were told that willpower is. We're going to come up with an actual explanation. But then what that is going to be absorbed by someone that is listening is going to be different.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I
It's a good point. I think listening to you then, spirit for me, so if we go mind, body, spirit, and soul, let's say. So spirit is also maybe your belief system, right? So it's like, what's your relationship like with your internal belief system? Like, what do you actually believe in? So that could be like your religion, that could be like your spirituality, that could be a whole bunch of things. So it's like, but are you cultivating and are you building this infrastructure that supports you and supports your willpower? That's actually a big thing for me. Like having this like constant relationship with my internal belief system that allows me to continue to love life and to continue with life. Like that's a big thing. And then soul is like your emotions for me. Like it's like, you know, the depth. Like what's your relationship like to your emotions? Like do you share your emotions? Are you emotional? What emotions do you feel on a day-to-day basis? So I think these like aspects for me create the self. So like that, you know, and create what's human. Yeah.
Creates humana.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be the thing. Like humana is gonna be the this like summing up like this whole concept. When you say when we mention humana is actually being this
not
individual,
that's
but
humana.
humana.
Yeah. So we can talk a bit about that as well, like how, you know, where that name come from.
Yeah.
Do you want to share?
Sure. Let's go.
Do you want to share that? Or
Yeah. Let's share that. We were thinking about the name of the podcast. No, we were thinking about the name of this all project, and obviously we were kind of maybe thinking too far. We were trying to make things too complicated, but then the answer was actually simple. Thinking of the human being, we were thinking of, okay, what about it's just being, or what about human being with something, or like we were talking about even the self. Okay, what about the self? Yeah, no, we weren't sure. But then we kind of, what was it again? Like we were in the car. We were in the car, and we were just brainstorming, completely brainstorming, and trying to come up with something simple. Because then I remembered, okay, how about just one word? We need to come up with one word that everybody can pronounce.
Yeah, and I was like, okay,
you know,
well,
I was thinking of like a marketing stuff.
Let's just think of one letter. First letter is A.
Yeah.
And we whacked it on the end.
Yeah.
But
then I think we got a good turning point when you said.
Yeah, so like the A is like, if you think about the word human, it has like the word man in there. And I think in today's society, there's this idea that like it's a very masculine sort of place to exist and to be in. And we've cast away the feminine. But this doesn't mean we now cast away the man. It means that we integrate the feminine. And so A in a lot of cultures at the end of words is that feminine word. So bringing back the A into human, so creating humana, is one point. Also has the word human in there. And then mana, which is like in, you know, games. Obviously, gaming is another theme right now. But in gaming, like you have like this, like how's like your mana levels, like your spell casting levels and shit like that. So it's like mana is like the life force or spirit. And so that's like an Indonesian word for that as well. So it just made a lot of sense. Yeah. And then we thought about the mana as well, like hands.
Yes.
So the humans, so you have like the elements, right? So you have like air, earth, fire, water, ether. So you have like your 5 elements as well. You have your 5 senses. So all these things are what make you human. And like the handprint.
Are we gonna have a podcast about the elements as well?
For sure, point? Bro.
Like maybe
for sure. We spoke a bit about it, but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's more like maybe to give for example, like someone that never heard about ether and what is what ether does, what ether is, you know, what's ether? Where is in the equation of you know being here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So ether is like it's like the energy between things. So it's also people call like dark matter is another word for it.
Dark matter. Yeah.
So dark matter, you know, I think it's like 70% of the world is dark matter, and we don't actually even know what that is, but it's something that allows communication between things. So it explains for like things like entanglement, and these other quantum mechanics or quantum physics. So it's kind of like the quantum field. So imagine you have all these aspects of yourself, then you have the field that connects us all. And that's kind of what ether is. And so yeah, you have air, obviously.
It's where everything travels.
Yeah.
Well, actually.
For me, it's also maybe the self. So you have like, I have my physical self, my spiritual self, mental, emotional self. And then there's the awareness, which is like ether, that actually gives all those things a stage and a place to exist. So without that, it's just standalone stuff. So you need something that connects that. And so you as a human, you're the thing that connects all these things together. Your awareness and presence is what connects like your mind, spirit, body, soul. So there's like that part of me is also you. Yeah, man. I think we've, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered what
we
what being a human is.
that. That was a good intro, I say. A pretty good intro.
So anything else you feel like you have to get off your chest, or?
No, I think we're good. We addressed it, like everything. I think it needs to be said. That's how I feel as well.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to add more. Otherwise, there's something about this connection we create. Maybe we'll have another podcast about that. But just so you know, I didn't know this guy like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
3 months ago, I didn't know this guy at all. I was living in a different country. I just came here because, again, I was guided. Something here for me, something that I needed to do. I didn't know what it was, but then I found, people to connect with and to start, that my vision, can be accomplished. So now I met this guy, Anthony, and I'm so actually grateful. I'm so grateful that I met you, man, that day.
Likewise, man.
And now we're just making shit happen. Yeah, this is actually what I feel.
Yeah.
I'm just making it
think
real.
It's a good point, man. Like a lot of these things in life is like, I like to think of people as like enablers now, like amplifiers. So it's like you are yourself, but there are certain people and parts of yourself that get unlocked through others or experiencing others. And you realize like, it's always within you, but sometimes you have to have this experience in order to attain it. So you never want to give that away. You always want to maintain your integrity, your spirit, but you discover it by experiencing different things. Jordan Peterson talks about this as well.
Yes,
it's really one of my favorite fun facts in the world is that like there are like hidden parts of our gene and our DNA. Actually, this is another point. So cool.
We can keep on and on and
on. This is what being human means, by the way. Yeah. So it's like there are parts of our gene that hasn't been expressed yet. That hasn't been unlocked. That you only unlock by experiencing new things, but you have to voluntarily experience those things.
This is a big part of my experience. This is massive experience that I've been through too. So I feel like this is what happened.
All part of that. Yeah.
What happens every time I change something.
Yeah.
So we'll have an episode about change, because change is actually another thing that kind of brings everything in. Like you said, this part of the gene, like something that you never discovered about yourself, which is your true self.
It's dormant. Yeah.
It's there. It's dormant. Yeah, exactly.
But it exists there, and you're trying to find this potential. You're trying to find this part to yourself, and you do that by experiencing as much of. What's funny is this is all the self, right? Like everything here is the self. So you're experiencing as much of the self as you can. And so you never actually separate yourself from anything. You are the experiences that you experience. You are the people that you meet. You are the work. You're all these different. You're all these things. That's a whole another belief of what I think being human is and what the self is. But then you start to learn more and more. Actually, I'm creating this sort of reality. I'm the one doing this thing. I'm the one engaging with it all. I can change the dynamic of it by the way that I change myself through your mind, spirit, body, soul, etc. So that was a really interesting thing. There was one more, but
just about awakening.
Antifragile. It's another cool term. Antifragile is something that I think humans have the capacity for. So you have things that are fragile. So if I was to drop a piece of glass, the glass will break, and that's it. It's broken. So it's fragile. You have things like rocks, stones. If you hit them, they remain the same. Then you have things in the world that you break, but it grows back stronger. And that's to me what a human is as well. So if you break your bone
You
grows
do
back
have that.
stronger. You break your spirit, you regrow your spirit. Like all these things are what makes for me like a optimal human, or like that human potential. It's like that willingness to continually break and to like get, you know, break your heart, break your bones, fall in love with life, fail, all these aspects, cry, sorrow, all these like painful things, but to continue moving forward beyond that, like that. And that's ultimately what I want to teach or coach. Maybe not in this podcast, but like outside of this podcast, it's how do we cultivate that, like that strength within ourselves? And I think that comes back to like understanding who we are on a deeper fundamental level.
And believe that
And believe,
actually
yeah.
we are
Yeah,
that thing.
Yeah.
We need to believe it. I think the belief is the thing that actually gets you to do or become whoever you want to become.
I'll challenge you on that one.
Yeah.
Only because I've heard it by Carl Jung.
Yeah.
Is it belief or is it knowing?
Well, I think you need to start believing, and then it turns into knowing.
Knowing, yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what he says?
That's well, yeah. One of his like last things he said was like he's like, someone asked him, "Do you believe in God?" He's like, "I don't believe in God. I know God." And I was like, "All right, that guy." When you're at that level, it's like it clicks. There's no more having to do.
No.
It's just I know. I'm at peace, sort of thing.
I think
that's a lot of strength.
Yeah, it sounds like a similar to when you work with affirmation. You know, you kind of like a rewiring. So you say, okay, new belief system. So you start saying the things that you actually want to start believing, but then knowing that it is that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that's an important part.
Do you do any affirmation? Because I do every morning, and guess what? Something you said is actually part of my mantra, which is believing that as a human, as a being, as a humana, I am unbreakable. This is actually part of the mantra. So I do say I'm unbreakable, I'm unshakable, and you know, all these things, and a part of my mantra.
Yeah, we can talk about this in another episode. What I've learned along the way is about feeling, action, and your thoughts. So you can, if you get stuck, an affirmation should be those three things. It shouldn't just be thoughts, because if it's just your thoughts, you're missing two other components. And there's like a rule of three, right? Whenever you create something or you want to manifest or do something, so you have, you know,
Thoughts.
masculine, feminine, like the third that creates something. So male, female, child. This is where you have like this like archetypal structure. So that's why you have like the triangle is like the first, the trinity is the first thing, because you need to have two things that combine to make a third. So when you're trying to manifest, you're trying to create new belief structures, thoughts, patterns. You have to have
you're
thought,
about
feeling,
to create. Yeah, you're about to create. Yeah.
Yeah, because that comes, all those things I guess create knowing. If I feel it to be true, I know it to be true through thoughts, and then I actually action that out through intention. Then you can, then things start to change and shift, and
Of course.
I think happen a lot quicker.
Yes,
as well.
sir. Yes, sir. Well done, man. Yeah. So we
All right,
close
man.
it up. We wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next episode. If you guys have any questions, thoughts, feelings, actions, reflections, things you want to share, we'd love to hear it. And we'll catch you next time.
Peace.